Hi guys, welcome to the channel. This video is here just to talk about the 2-0 loss to Chelsea that we had yesterday on Sunday. Very disappointing performance. I think that I thought I was going into the game. I thought maybe we'd have a chance against Chelsea. We've had a pretty good record over the past 2 seasons, and it was not to be. So let's take a look at how we lined up against them. So I think one of the biggest things that we did wrong is, as a lot of people are saying, we went with four at the back. That, especially when they're going five at the back with Reece James and Marcos Alonso, just absolutely running over Cedric, pushing them back. I don't think Cedric got up the field one time during the game. He was so focused on Alonso down the side. And Lakonga had a pretty good game, but he's focused more on taking over this midfield area and kind of controlling the space, which was not very good either. Reece James had Kieran Tierney on toast last night. I mean, I felt bad for Tierney. He's having to cover for Mari because he knows Lukaku's coming in and absolutely running him over. So trying to support that. Xhaka, who I think is I think Arteta's plan is for Xhaka to come back and fill this space and help out Tierney, leaving Saka to come up this wing and push Reece James back. I'm pretty sure that's the tactic that they wanted. Clearly, that didn't work. He didn't change it up. It was just atrocious. Not very good. So again, I think Granit Xhaka was at fault for not helping, as well as Saka. Saka's got to track back, and Kieran Tierney does need to recognize, especially on the first goal, how much space does he have? Does James have over here? Just unbelievable amounts of space, and it was honestly comical. Even the commentators were saying halfway through the game that it's atrocious that Arsenal is not reading this. Even the players on the field. How is Leno not saying to Tierney, "Hey, you need to come over here"? And like, there's no communication. It's piss poor. So Martinelli started up top, which I was kind of happy with. I like to see him as center forward. I don't think he's ready yet for it. I think he still is very raw. He's got lots of talent, but needs a lot of refinement, I think. Saka, he had a poor game defensively. I think he was not fit, not 100% fit. Um, he he had a good shot at net where it was deflected, and it almost fooled Mendy, but it was just outside the box, and he just took a swing at it. And I think it was Christensen who deflected it almost into his own net. So not a terrible game. We'll go into player ratings at the end. Pepe, I think I did pretty good. Such a one-dimensional player though. He wants to beat people two times, and then although sometimes he had one or two nice turns where I didn't think there's any way he's going to get out of this, a double team, and he pulled it through, and then he's quick, he's pacey, and his acceleration gets him away up this wing here. But then once he gets down into this, he doesn't have a lot of crossing. And why is he taking corners? Why do we not have a good corner taker? Like Pepe just floats them in. They're floating to the back post, hoping somebody's going to hit them back across. But we don't have the players to do that. Like we have Holding and Mari out there. Like there needs to be a secondary come short. We have the players to play it in off the corner here, and we just don't use it. But again, if we would have went five at the back, I mean, maybe we put Tierney in as a third and we move Saka back here, as people were saying. I think that does eliminate some of Saka's forward play, but it might have been something that I mean, looking back, hindsight's a great thing. It's easy to say that now, but we will see. We'll see what he does against Man City. Maybe he will go three at the back after. Maybe he'll learn. We'll see. So we subbed Aubameyang on. I forget what minute it was. Pretty early. I think it was like 60th minute or something. And he came on for Saka. And Arteta used all three subs early. I was actually impressed that he noticed and he needed to make changes. So people are saying he wasn't reactive, but I think he did recognize this. I think that he wanted to get to half. And once we got to half, I think he did speak to them about it. It was a little bit better in the second half. We did have a lot more forward play in the second half. It was a bit better, not great. I think if we would have gone the second half, played as well in the first half as we did the second half, maybe it's a one nothing loss. Maybe they just squeak one by in the second half. Although Lukaku is just so damn good, it's hard to say that. Yeah, so Batman came on. I think he ran a lot. I think he, like Arteta said, he wasn't fit, 100% fit to play the game. But all credit to him for getting out there, and he did work hard. I think he knew he had to work hard for the fans. That's what they wanted to see. I think he's definitely a fan motivated player. I think he said this in the past. He likes fans to be in the stadium. So I'm hoping that this season, with fans back in there, it's not going to feel like a training session to him, and he'll have a better season. Nuno Tavares came on. I think he was a little bit shaky. He had, if you there was a chance where Kai Havertz went on net and almost put it between Leno's legs. And if you look back at that, I think it was Tavares who the ball came into and it just bounces off his shin and it ends up going right to, I think it was Havertz, and then Havertz just beats him, goes on one with Leno and almost puts it 3-0. But it was a good save, honestly, and he saved it and he reached back and grabbed it behind him. So um, all credit to Leno today. He had a good game. Leno had a good game. Balogun came on. Didn't even notice him. I think he's got to put on some weight. He's a little bit lightweight for the Premier League, especially against Christensen and Rudiger. Like there's just no chance for this kid to even. They just absolutely overwhelm him. So I think he had a few touches on the ball, not much. And I think even in the first half, Martinelli only touched the ball I think twice in the first half. So I'm not sure how well he played. He did a lot of chasing, and I know that's Arteta's style of play. I don't think it suits him. Somebody I think on AFTV was talking about how Lukaku really doesn't run a lot. He focuses just on going forward, and yet we have Martinelli who's doing all the pressing, and our pressing is it's one dimensional. It's one person pressing. Lukonga is trying to direct people around, which I did like to see, but it just we need we need a forward presser who's gonna have some support. You can't press two players by yourself. You're just gonna waste your energy, and that's what we saw from Martinelli. Um, yeah, Arteta. Yeah. All right, let's look at player ratings. So Leno, I think this is out of 10, 10 being highest, obviously. I think Leno actually had a really good game. I think it'd be 4 or 5 nil if it wasn't for him, honestly. So I think let's put him at 7.5. Let's put him at 7. Yeah, put him at 7. That's on 7. I mean, let 2 goals by him. I think the first one he lays out as the cross comes by. If he just stretches a little bit further, I mean, it's not really his fault, but it's because he's got to watch the near post too. But the cross is coming from out here, right? Cross is coming from out here from James. He lays out and it just kind of goes right by his fingertips. Easy tap in for Lukaku. So I mean, not really his fault, but and then the second goal, nothing he can do either. He makes that amazing save. You know what? He makes that amazing save, and he makes the save against Kai Havertz of 1-on-1, and Lukaku's amazing header where he just reaches up. And it was actually, if you look back, it's a firm hand. It's actually in front. His reaction time is just phenomenal. Let's give him an 8. He played not bad. Holding, one thing I love seeing from Holding is his intensity. I love when he went down in the corner after and he slides across. He doesn't even touch Alonso. Doesn't even touch him. Alonso flops. And it looks bad, so Rudiger comes over. But if you go back and watch the replay, he doesn't even touch him. He doesn't even touch his foot as he goes by. I think it's just trailing leg that maybe gets him. And Alonso is fine. And so he gets the yellow, I think, for pushing Rudiger. Um, yeah, but I mean, I like to see that from Holding, a little bit of intensity. I remember when he was playing against Chelsea a while ago, and Diego Costa and him had a good battle where he's giving the "you're crazy." Love to see that from Holding. So, I mean, if you look at the first goal, nothing Holding can do. Mari gets absolutely out muscled as Lukaku comes into the box here. Holding watching his man. And there's nothing he can do. Nothing that Holding can do on the second goal. Uh, it's yeah, he what didn't have his best game. Got out muscled a lot. God, got out muscled a lot on the ball. He had a few. He had that header down here that he needs to score. Holding needs to start putting some of those headers away because he gets up well. And if you look at it, he's really good at shaping his body to get onto the ball because he jumps and he's actually off centered for it, and he reaches over to the side and still. And I think that's why he misses because it comes off and it's spinning, and it kind of goes off to the side and wide. But I mean, overall, it's a loss. You can't give him more than like a, I don't know, let's give him a 7. Did not bad. I think out of defenders, I think he was the best defender. We'll go Cedric next. I mean, he didn't get forward at all. If you look at this, I think it's the second goal, yeah, where Kai Havertz somehow gets away from him and he makes this amazing chip ball, just little chip down here, and Alonso's gone, and Cedric just jogs back. Like I watched it over, I watched the highlights over, and I mean, as a you need to get back as a fullback because I think he's playing. I mean, and maybe yeah, it's supposed to be. I think he's heavy. He's supposed to be going up forward because we don't have a lot of link up play for Pepe. But on that second goal, he gets absolutely worked over here. Kai Havertz pushes it in. He just jogs back. And I mean, other than that, I don't even remember anything else he did. Did well. He's a good crosser of the ball. He didn't have any opportunities to cross the ball. I think he made one nice play where there's a few link up passes down here in the corner, and he's pretty good at doing that. His give and goes are great, and I think that's why we brought him in is the give and goes on the side, along the wing here with Pepe, but it's just not working. So I'm gonna give him a 5. 5. Mari, he had an absolute atrocious game, absolute awful. I mean, he got out muscled on the second. It looks terrible when you go back and watch that replay. Lukaku's faster, stronger, has more balance, and he just runs through him. It's like he's not even there. And Murray falls and he's like asking, like, oh, he pushed me. It's like, no, you need to be able to, you should be moving first as a defender. You need to stay between the goal and Lukaku. Like, and he's just not. He's just not defensively aware enough, and he doesn't have the physical capabilities to get back in time. And he gets absolutely outmuscled, leaving Holding stranded. And that's why Lukaku just has an easy tap in for the first goal. Sorry. Um, and yeah, and for the rest of the game, he had a few nice challenges in the second half where he actually did win some balls over Lukaku, and so did Holding actually. But I mean, other than that, it was terrible. I don't remember a single forward pass he played. Um, Got to give him a 3. Got to give him a 3. Terrible, terrible performance. Not one he'll want to look back at. Same for Tierney. I think Tierney, he's Mr. Consistent, always plays well. I think he didn't have an off game. I think he tried hard. I think Saka was not giving much support. Honestly, I think Saka had a poor game, but for Tierney, I think had a few good crosses, but nothing that was really threatening like he usually do. He whips the ball in, and I don't know. He was whipping in, but there's nobody there. He's crossing it. Sometimes I think he needs to get his head up a little bit, especially when he's feeling pressured on the side. And when he's having a good game, he will. He'll get his head up. And sometimes I think people know that he wants to cross the ball, right? So they'll get on him hard and force him wide and then force him to cross the ball late. But that one time that he faked running down the side and then went back inside and then you have a shot on net. If you do that once or twice a game, at least try to cut inside from the wing. Add some variety where the defenders are kind of thinking next time, is he going to cross the ball or is he going to cut in? I think last time he just wanted to cross the ball too much. I don't know, maybe that was his direction, but had a poor game. I mean, we'll give the guy 5. He tried hard. He had that one moment where he ran down the wing, pressured the defense, and then went in on net and pressured the goalie again. The whole stadium was applauding him. One thing I will say is everybody talked about the fans. We'll do fans last. We'll give fans a rating last. Xhaka. I don't know about Xhaka. I feel like I understand why they want him. I think again his role in this formation was to support Tierney defensively because Arteta knows that Tierney's going to be up here um, most of the game, and then Tierney even when he was on defense he's getting sucked in with Mari because he knows Lukaku's such a threat, and I think Xhaka is supposed to communicate and at least help Tierney with covering Reece James. We've seen Jack in the past where he fills in onto the left defensive role and kind of is that ball movement on that role, which works sometimes. And I don't know if that was the plan for yesterday's game or what, but it didn't work. He had a few good ball winning moments where he steals it upfield and then he has a nice touch, first touch, and then he passes it back over here to contain the ball, retain the ball. He had a few nice plays. I would like to see him shooting instead of Lakonga from deep. Lakonga has actually he strikes the ball really well, but he's hitting it high, just like Party is. And I think Xhaka is somebody that can hit those long shots. We've seen him do it lots before. So I'd like to see him instead of being the outlet and kind of dishing the ball off and being that ball winner. It'd be nice to see Xhaka kind of deep line playmaker. Um, Maybe he sits up top in the box. This is something with Arteta, even on those corners. Have Xhaka sit up here instead of Lakonga. Lakonga is definitely a great player, but I think he's more of a ball movement than a shooter. I mean, this is what I've only seen him for a few minutes, but um, yeah. Xhaka can't give him more than a 4, really. I mean, like, can't give him more than a 4. Lakonga, I think had a good home debut. Um, I like to see him. He's some of his turns on the ball where a lot of it is just body movement where he's just letting the ball come across. But it's so something that we've been missing in there because he looks so composed, so calm on the ball, able to be under pressure, but not just give not force passes. He has a great long ball over to Saka actually on the first play of the game, and also one to Tierney where he makes a beautiful diagonal ball up to Tierney, and Tierney has a great touch and then fizzes it across the box. Martinelli doesn't go into press. Or go into further. I think he's exhausted because he just ran back and chased. So he's exhausted, doesn't get in the 5 yard box, and we missed the opportunity. But it's created from the Conga's diagonal ball. So I mean, you know what? I'm gonna give him a 6. He played okay. Um, Again, I would like to see Xhaka shooting more out here, or at least Lukonga start working on his shooting because he's pretty young. If he's getting a lot of chances from out here, where he's getting those quick one touch and then quick shot on goal. And he strikes the ball really well. Just last night, it was just high and wide. Um, yeah, so 6. Smith Rowe, I think, was probably our best player. He drove us forward the entire game, worked his ass off. I don't know what this kid eats for breakfast, but holy hell, like he goes the entire game 110%. Every time he gets the ball, he wants to drive with it, go forward, give and go. Um, I think the one thing that people obviously, and this is why Odegaard is brought in, but I think that final ball is something that he lacks. He had that one chance down here where it was fizzed in by Cedric. Not a very good cross. I think he just put it in. He taps it down with the outside of his foot. Nice touch, but it rolls away. What you want to see is that like backspin on the ball where he kind of cut it back. But I mean, it fizzed in at him. He does his best, and he kind of toe pokes it, and it's a good block by Christensen. But again, that's the Premier League. You can't take that extra half second to because then the chance is gone. So that needs to be touched down and fired in, which he's usually pretty good at. So uh, played really well. I think he has some really good link up play with almost everybody. I think Saka and him obviously play really well. I would like to see Saka and Pepe switch wings because I think Smith Rowe um, just does better when Saka's on the right. I don't know. I think that's just something that they've played together for a long time and they're just used to that. And they find each other really good down here in the box. Um, Smith Rowe plays okay with Pepe too. They have very good one on ones or give and goes. Um, Pass and move. I mean Smith Rowe. He also had a good shot on net early in the first half actually, where it's just touched down in front of him and it just falls and he just has a swing at it and it kind of rolls in on net. That's something that again he doesn't connect with it perfectly all the time. He's got to work on some of his striking, but not a bad game. I think he was best overall. I'm going to give the kid an 8. Worked hard, honestly. By far our best player. Didn't quite do enough going forward. Obviously he knows that, but yeah. Geez, even 8 is high, honestly. But holding, I gave a 7, so yeah, so 8, gotta be 8. Saka, Starboy, such a good player. Was not fit for last night's game. Did not play well. I think honestly he probably should have been benched. He probably should have been brought on halfway through. But what do you do? Who do you put up front then? I mean, I understand the choices to put Saka out for the full game. But I would have liked to seen him brought on maybe 60th minute instead of Aubameyang. Um, Maybe you play Aubameyang, but then again, sick. So I understand he's kind of forced to play Saka, or Arteta is forced to play Saka. He doesn't track back on the first goal. Everybody sees that. Doesn't track back on the second goal. I'm not sure if again if it was Xhaka, if they go back to the game plan and Xhaka is the is supposed to be the one covering there. And if he is, I mean, it's Saka's fault for not even attempting to get back. Because if you look at it, it looks bad. It looks really bad on him. He's almost walking back. He's just jogging. Um, and he sees, if you look at it, he's looking at James open here, but he doesn't call it to Tierney. Again, we just lack communication. Like I don't understand this. Like even in even in the uh, even the recreation leagues that I play in, it's easy communication. You say, "Hey, there's somebody out wide. Watch out wide." I'm like, it's not a hard thing for people to yell out. Jack is not communicating with Tierney, even though he's turned and looking back this way. And Tierney and Mari and Holding and Mari don't communicate either. There's so many things in moments during the game where I look at Holding and Mari, and as a center back, like you need to be communicating with not only each other, but Leno and Lukonga and Jack. Like this needs to be the backbone right here, and you need to all be in communication and know what we're doing and stay tight back here. But we're just spread out, and we get Tierney sucked in, Saka not tracking back, Xhaka not filling in the space. Like there's three players there that are making mistakes. Anyway, Saka. God, God, Arsenal. Saka. I mean, his poor game. I think probably the worst. He did have that one shot on net. I think going forward, he wasn't bad. Wasn't great. Had a fair game going forward, going and then defending just was probably awful. Probably his worst game ever. And I think he's just exhausted. So no blame on the kid, but I think we got to give him a 4. 3 was any worse than Mari? No, I don't think he was worse than Mari. We'll give him a 4. Pepe, I think played well. I think again he always has two things. He wants to beat defender once and then beat him again and then drive up the wing. Yeah, right up here. Gets the ball, wants to beat a defender, beat the other defender, and then drive up the wing. Sometimes it works and it looks great, and he looks like he's worth the 72 mil, and he goes in on net, cuts inside, and takes a left foot into the corner. And when it works, that's amazing. But now teams are sussing that out, and they understand that that's what he wants to do. So they're forcing him wide, not letting him cut in. And then when he does cut in, he's being double teamed, where the other defender is sitting here. So he's cutting, he's trying to beat the first man, and he wants to cut back, but the other defender is reading it. It's just he needs to understand that he's gonna have to use his right foot and cross that ball in sometimes. He has no right foot. I don't know if I've ever seen him take a cross with his right foot. I think he scored a goal with his right foot though the other week, which I was impressed to see. But yeah, so Pepe, I think I don't know what to give him. I think he had that one moment where it was a double team and he beats him up the wing and he's so pacey. He's just able to move up this wing just freely. So he beats the double team and he just breaks up the wing. He gets up into their third and then he dishes the ball back. And I think somebody just puts it back and it recycles. So kind of a wasted effort, but it was nice to see. I think he has a lot of potential this season. I think this is going to be a season where if we start to gel on the midfield a little bit, we get Odegaard in here. With Smith Rowe maybe on the side, and then I don't know, maybe Saka takes break sometimes or whatever it is, or maybe him and Pepe are alternates on the right wing. We'll see, but I think that Pepe is going to have a good season. I think that this game can't give him more than a 6, right? I mean, 6 is pretty generous. We'll give him a 6. Did not bad. Martinelli, again, exhausted himself running around. Love the kid, but he needs to have some coaching on when to press. And going forward, he's very raw. I think he has a lot of talent. He wants to drive forward with the ball. We saw last time we played, or the other time we played Chelsea, where I think it's Conte makes a mistake actually. He goes in on net. He's quick, pacey kid. Comes in on net. I think makes a little bit of a mistake, and his touch isn't great all the time. I think under pressure, his touch is not great. But that's something you get with experience. So definitely has a lot of potential. And I did like that they're playing him center forward. I think that was a good thing to see him out there rather than out here on the wing where he's good, but I don't want to see him crossing the ball and heading in or cutting in. I want to see him up front where he's making these runs in. And a lot of times he was making these efforts to come across and to run in between the space on between Christensen and Rudiger, but just it wasn't found enough. Lukonga's looking this way. Xhaka's not really. I mean, Xhaka's a good passer of the ball, but his diagonal ball is not always great, and he's not really looking for that a lot. So Martinelli doesn't have a lot of options other than playing off Smith Rowe in this game, and Smith Rowe didn't have the ball too much to be able to do that. So I mean, you can't give him more than a 6 either. Works hard. He got injured again. I don't know how him and Tierney just are injured every other game. I don't know who our medical team is, but it's it's beyond bizarre how these two kids, they're pretty young and they have consistent injuries. And I know that they might just be injury prone, but it's either really bad luck or they're being physioed or their physio is not being done properly. I mean, it's just no other way to think about it. Aubameyang, I mean, what to give Aubameyang? Came on, worked hard, was probably not 100%. Did what he had to as a captain. I like to see him grab the captain's armband as soon as he walked on. Um, Looked determined today. Came on, didn't look like his. Sometimes it bothers me how he's so happy-go-lucky and it's all a joke, and that's fine. It's just that when you're on the field, I want to see determination, like he showed me today or showed everybody today. Um, where he's running after the ball. And he's even sometimes he doesn't press the goalkeeper enough. I think there's a lot of times where he's so pacey. Aubameyang is one of the fastest players on our team, and how old is he now? He's almost 30. One of the fastest players on his team. And I like to see him press the goalkeeper a little bit more, especially against Mendy, who I think is a little bit suspect. He's pretty calm on the ball, but I think sometimes he is suspect for an error or two. So I would like to see a little bit more of that. Came on, worked hard, can't give him any more than a 6. Tavares again looked a little bit shaky, honestly, when he came on. He had that one moment for Kai Havertz where he basically just, I think the ball just bounced off of him right to Havertz, and he kind of just lets it, or not lets him go around, but he just gets beat too easily. Falls down, I think. Kai Havertz goes on a net and almost nutmegs Leno for the goal. So, I mean, came on, didn't have a lot to do. First home debut, I think. So 4, not good, not good. I mean, lots to come from him. I think he came on for Tierney as Tierney got injured, and so I guess he's gonna be playing left wide back. Yeah, I hope to see a little bit more of him going forward. And I think that Tierney's gonna be injured a lot just because the way he plays, and I think he does get to pick up a lot of injuries that way, or just little niggles. So yeah, Balogun came on pretty late. I think he was the last sub, and played okay. I think he had 2 touches or 3 touches on the ball that I really remember. I think the ball just kind of bounces off of him. I think he a little bit. He's very small for the Premier League. Needs to put on a lot more weight. Needs to eat a steak and potatoes. So hopefully a lot more to see from him going forward. I mean, can't give him more than 4. So this is what it looks like. I mean, overall, not a great game. Hopefully, we come up with a little bit better performance against Man City. Because if we play like that, like especially how we played in the first half, it's going to be a 5-0, just like they beat Norwich. They are firing at the moment, and it just does not look good. It's a little bit depressing as an Arsenal fan at the moment. It's hard to watch. It's really hard to watch. Yeah. So anyway, thanks again, guys. Hopefully see you back in the next video.